This essay is about teaching children. Um, and the essay is kind of the backstory of the essay is that I moved from Pennsauken, Merchant, New Jersey to Mount Lebanon uh, just before I got out of elementary school. And that had a profound negative effect upon me. And it goes back to the old adage, no pain, no gain. That pain of what I experienced when I moved from one place to another, that had a profound negative effect upon me educationally. But what was critically important is that when I finally realized the mistake that I was making, it was a great benefit. So at almost 74 years of age, I'm still teaching at the college level. But I'm also teaching my two youngest grandsons, Jack and Owen. And this is an absolutely true story. And there are millions of articles about both these experiences on my webpage. But when Jack was 3 years old, I was teaching an art history class at his home, and he came past and wanted to know what I was doing. And he said, "What's that on the screen on the laptop?" And I said, "That's a famous painting." He nodded, toddled off. 10 minutes, 15 minutes later, he comes back and says, "And what's that one?" I said, "That's another famous painting." And then it dawned on me. A 3-year-old wanted to learn about famous paintings. He's now 6 years old. He knows 5 or 6 dozen famous paintings and the artists that painted them. When he was about 4, he was in my backyard, which butts up against a lake, and all that we were doing that afternoon was just sitting and chatting and throwing rocks into the lake. He popped, laughed, picked up a rock and said, "Papa, what's this?" And he brought me over this rock, and it had fossilized brachiopods in them, seashells. And I thought to myself, when I was in college, I had to take a 10-hour science class, and I took geology. And so I knew something about fossils. So I thought, oh, okay, Jack, if you want to learn about fossils, you'll learn. Jack and his brother Owen know they have their own fossil collections, and they can identify more fossils than probably 90% of America. When Owen was 4 years old, I gave him, and a couple of years before that, I gave him a fossilized cropylite of a dinosaur. Cropylite is the polite term for dung. And it was a chunk of fossilized dung that had been sliced, and then the sliced side of the dung had been buffed and was shiny. And Owen was fascinated by the shiny cropylite or dinosaur dung, and he would always feel it. And this was when he was 3. He would always go up and try to smell the rock or the fossil and see if it smelled like what he called dinosaur poop. But when he turned 4, and I knew that he liked shiny things, so all the fossils, not all of it, but most of the fossils he gets are shiny. And I gave him a shiny ammonite, which what we would know as a chambered nautilus. And Jack and Owen have probably 5 or 6 ammonites in their collection. But I was at the store with fossils and bought this shiny ammonite, which just absolutely fascinated Owen when he got it and just was playing with it in his hand. And so this is in the essay. I said, let's take these things up to Jack's bedroom and leave them there. So I gave him all the fossils that I had given to Jack and to Owen, And there were 3 or 4 of them, and handed them to him, and I picked up the box, took it upstairs. We sat down, I put the box on the floor, and he proceeds to give me the fossils, and I put them in the box. He holds the shiny ammonite in his hand. And I didn't take it from him. I just sat there and watched him. And he's feeling it. And then he stopped, and I thought, well, he's overplaying with his new fossil. He holds it in one hand and goes into the box, which is a window box that has compartments where you can put fossils. And he pulls out another ammonite that is an ammonite, but it doesn't look like the shiny one that he has. And he says, see, Papa, these two are the same kind of fossil. Very good, Owen. He put one back, and then he goes back and finds another one. Tells me the same thing. Then he goes back and picks up a very large one. It's probably 3 or 4 inches in diameter. And he picks it up. He puts that ammonite in my hand, gives me in my other hand his shiny ammonite, and then he starts to tell me, see, Papa, these, they don't look the same, but they are the same kind of fossil. This is a 4-year-old telling me about fossils. So anytime I see anything about education and about children, I watch or read it. And a couple of weeks ago, I happened to go across something on TED on the internet, and it was a speech about the learning process involved with children. I knew from practical experience that 3-year-olds can learn very well. But this video that is at the end of the essay is absolutely breathtaking as far as what they learn before they're 3. In fact, before they're born. So I appreciate your time and your interest in watching and listening to this video and reading this essay. In a sense, that's the backstory. There are young children in your family or in your neighborhood that you can help in their learning process. Make sure that you take the time to teach. You take care.